So, first of all, it's great to have you all the way from Jacksonville, Florida. Obviously, you're not an original native of Jacksonville, Florida, are you?
No, I am originally from Venezuela. I was a scout in Venezuela, but I moved to Florida in the United States 20 years ago.
Wow. Okay. Now, I just love your website, Scouting Adventures, and all the photos that you put up. He is one of the most avid scouts, and I think he will go in well with Scouting Radio. Tell us a little about yourself and how you got involved in scouting.
Well, I was Sea Scout when I was younger in Venezuela, and this is why I got the love for the sea and scouting. And for me, being the son of a widow, being a scout was like finding a male figure in my life, and I did
Mhm.
it. Later, I joined the Naval Academy, was Navy officer. As an adult, I found a group, Scout, near me, and I became one of the leaders of that group with my little boy. Then, fast forward, I came to the United States and decided to start all over again with my younger boy that was 10 years behind the others.
Mhm.
And I did it. I started all the way from Beavers, like you call there in the UK, all the or Ireland. You are in Ireland,
Ireland.
right?
Oh, yes, Ireland. Yeah, but
I
beavers, we have
to the
beavers.
names of the countries and the places, yes. And then all the way to Eagle Scout. He left scouting. I continue being a scoutmaster for 7 years, involved in council and district, and now in Jamboree and Jamborette, Scotland.
Uh-huh.
And that's been my life in the United States for the last 20 years, plus 15 before in Venezuela.
That is incredible history of scouting. And are you still involved locally with the group?
Yes, I am with the Boy Scout troop. I was a Scout Master. Now I am like the Pope, a Scout Master Emeritus. No, I pay for the scouting, and I go to the meetings and promote their voice going to Scotland, for example, and to jamborees. It took us 6 years to organize a trip to go to the Scottish Jamborette, and we did it. I am also involved as an assistant advisor of venturing.
Hmm.
Venturing is the upper level, in your case, explorer or Roberts
Yes,
level or older young scouts that also participate in high adventure. So we have a troop and also a venture group.
that's fantastic. Now, what made you set up the website Scouting Adventures?
Well, when a few years ago, I work in information systems and in the internet. And then a few years ago, I started embracing the iPad, the iPhone. I have been blogging since the 90s. I think there was one of the old bloggers of the
Mhm.
previous internet generation. And then I decided to blog and to take pictures about scouting. And in 2013, I was to the National Jamboree in the United States. No, sorry, before. In 2010, I went to the National Jamboree and I got hooked about international scouting, meeting scouts from other places. I was a visitor in 2010, and then in 2013, I went as a leader
Mhm.
with a troop from Florida. And then I start to see scouting from all over the place. And I start taking pictures and taking pictures of people and neckerchief and patches. And then decided, well, let me create a blog and mix it with social media so I can do promote scouting, international scouting. So one of my motto is that life is a continual learning adventure. So people say that I love adventure. So I say, well, why not? Scouting adventures all together. And then I create the thing and I create the blog, start blogging in English. And then later, when people in Latin America are starting to say, well, you need to do this in Spanish. And then, well, I did a spin of the scouting adventures to Noticias Scouts, Scouts News. And
Mhm.
then I do more or less the same in Spanish to Latin America and Spain. So I try to translate things and to promote what's going on in Latin America and Spain. For example, in the last Jamborette in Scotland, Jamborette, I have
Mhm.
to use the proper
Yes.
Edinburgh pronunciation. I learned, we were all English speakers except the troops, the group from Spain and Gibraltar that spoke Spanish. So we have the bilingual conversation. I did some videos, one in English and one in Spanish. We start sharing the news. For example, there is a group I met in Japan in the Jamboree from Spain that is already collecting money, doing fundraising to go to the World Jamboree in 2019.
Wow.
This is a year from now.
Yes.
Although I keep promoting them and telling the people you should go beyond your meetings, beyond the scene. And this is the story more or less of Scouting Adventures. And then came out with a logo and stickers. Yeah. And then we started to promote the name. Yeah, that's my next step. My next step is to do a passion.
Yes, yes.
And then, well, that's the story. We have 2 or 3 people that help me in English to promote specific things like local things or American things. And I try to focus on the international. In Spanish, it's more or less the same. I have a friend in Argentina who gave me, and another in Chile that tried to post things about Latin America, and another friend in Spain, another friend in Colombia and Venezuela. So we try to do all the region, you know? And this is what we do. We are a very small shop, you know. We are not a big thing, you know.
Well, it's the exact same with Scouting Radio. I've studied radio, always interested in technology, and in my degree year in college, they said do a thesis on something that you love. So it's like, okay, how's about I set up an internet radio station on scouting, and here I am 11 years later still doing it. And people like yourself who are volunteers, I just try and get people like yourself to contribute back and give their thoughts about what's happening in scouting now. And do you know what? It's great to have you on board, because speaking about Latin America, speaking about your adventures, and also your international flavour as well, that will be so passionate in what we try to do on Scouting Radio. So you have to tell me a bit more about this Blair Jamborette. It sounds incredible.
The what?
The Blair Jamborette, the Scottish Jamboree.
Yeah.
You must tell me more. So when did this planning start, and how did you go about staying for nearly 3 weeks, wasn't it?
Well, we were 3 weeks in the Blair Atholl Jamborette. This Jamborette has been in Scotland for already 70 years. Mm-hmm. We heard about the Jamborette in 2012 when a group from Scotland, from Fife, went to Orlando and have a summer camp next to us. Mm-hmm. So we became engaged as friends. They have females. Our Boy Scouts never have seen Boy Scouts of the same age with female Scouts, because in the United States, the female join when they are 14. Mm-hmm. But we're still working on that. We want to be co-ed too.
Yes, so that's another story.
The believers and promoting co-ed scouting. Well, that year, we went together, they exchanged t-shirts, neckerchief, and then we decided to be sister troops, like sister cities.
Yes.
And then brother troops, where we were sister troops. We started keeping the conversation using social media, the boys with the girls. And then when the Jamboree on the internet came, the Jota Joti in October, we did a weekend, we call it Jamboree on Skype.
Excellent,
we did a Skype conversation with my troop here in Jacksonville and the troop there in Fife, and we went to it together. And we will start planning to go to 2014 Jamboree. They told us there was an amazing experience, 2 weeks of camping plus 1 week of hospitality. And then finally, 2016, we were able to assemble a troop with leaders, people, money, neckerchief, and bam, we went. We spent 2 weeks in Blair Atholl, and I tell you, it's an experience. I am now Scottish. I am officially Scottish. And because I already have a kilt, I got a new kilt, and I got all involved into the Scottish culture. And then our scouts spent 2 weeks in a camporee with 2,000 scouts, close to 2,000 scouts from 15 to 18 countries by patrols from mixed patrol from Scottish scouts and overseas scouts. And then the most amazing experience of the Jamboree everything was amazing. The parades, the opening. I did a bunch of videos and pictures that I am still sharing. And then the most amazing part of the experience was the week of hospitality. They took our boys to their homes across all Scotland, and we stayed in Edinburgh for 5 days waiting for them.
Okay.
So and the parents were worried. Well, they're going to be in a house with a girl, with a boy, with another boy, with people they don't know. But we believe on the system. The Scotland Scouts have been doing this for years. We believe in them, and their organization was perfect. They have scouters or in all the stations. On the day of the reunification of the Scout, we were all waiting in the Edinburgh station, and all came different trains, and we were very happy of the organization. The experience has been amazing, and we are now planning to go back in 2018. I trying to get new leaders because they happen with the leaders, the American leaders, that they are all my age or older, no?
Okay.
I am 62, and then I think that the scouters should be younger so they can match the scouters in Europe. So I am trying to convince the next generation to go, and I will be behind the scenes, pushing them.
Well, you're never too old for scouting. That's.
Yeah, I agree. But when you have to hike a mountain and you have to carry a backpack, then you realize that you're not good anymore.
As I found out, being a cub leader and doing Snowdonia in Wales during the summer, my legs were sore.
You're still young enough to carry backpacks and stuff.
Yes, yeah. But
the problem is that we were to Edinburgh to Arthur's Seat, and my boys were almost running. I was behind me. My other leader behind me, and so they were waiting, and then we couldn't catch them.
No. So it must have took a lot of fundraising to do such a trip over to Blair.
Yes, the thing for us in the U.S., the experience has to be more expensive than other local or close to the Jamborette, because even in the United States, we are so a vast territory, and for us in Florida to go to our own Jamboree that is in West Virginia, close to Washington, it's very hard to get all the money. We need special coaches and hotel nights. Imagine going to Scotland. Now we have a group planning to go to the Moot in Iceland next year. And they already telling the amount of money they have to save, plus the airfare. So it's really a commitment to go. I went to Japan, and for me, were 3 years of savings. We were saving money for 3 years, and the boys, the same thing. We told them, you know what, start saving, collecting money, fundraising, because going to Japan is a unique experience, but it's going to make $5,000 money.
Yeah, wow.
$5,000.
Yeah, it is an expensive saving, but it's a trip of a lifetime. Are you going to try and get to the World Jamboree the Boy Scouts of America? No, let me get this right. The World Scout Jamboree in 2019. Are you going to attend in America?
Well, yeah, it's going to be in North America next year in 2017, because we also get confused with the dates.
Yes.
2017 is our national Jamboree, and to this Jamboree, some international groups come.
Yes.
And this is going to be next year at the Summit in West Virginia. In 2019, it's going to be the World Jamboree organized by North America. The Canadians, USA, and Mexico together are organizing the 2019 World Jamboree that is going to be in the Summit in West Virginia.
Are you attending?
Yes, I am going as visitor, as people, like grandfather of the boys. For whatever reason, I have to be on that exam one day or 1 week. It doesn't matter. The important part is to be part of the Jamboree.
Yes, and ditto on that. I'm going to try and get there as well. Whether I have to just visit for the day, it's somehow or other. I think I have to convince my wife that I'm going to send her off shopping in Virginia while I go to the Jamboree.
Well, you know what? I went to Japan last year and to Scotland this year in the week of my wife's birthday.
So
you have to really commit to have that week, and she has to be a great person to let me go.
She must really love you.
That this is part of my blood. is part of my individual activities, and she's really a supporter of Scouting. I love her a lot, and I think that wife needs to understand that we need to have our
Passion.
recharging batteries, and Scouting is one of them.
Now, talk to me about the campsites in Florida. Have you ever been to the Florida Sea Base?
I have been a visitor to the Social Sea Base. The problem that we have here in Florida is that we all are scouts, but this is a coastal state. We have beaches 5 minutes from home. So everything we do is close to the water, to the sea, to the river, or to the lakes. Yes. So, or even to the base. So for us to go to the sea base is not as interesting as people from other states.
Yes.
Because for us, the sea base or all the sea is our backyard.
Yes.
So even we don't have a lot of sea scouts because all of our scouts do sea scout activities.
Of course, of course.
So, and this is one of the things I tell people, you know what, when you live in a state that you have so plenty beaches and some places that you don't need to pay a lot to go, then you leave the sea base to people from other places that need to come south and have a place to come.
So what's your favorite campsite then in Florida?
Mine?
Yes, your favorite camp place in Florida.
Well, I am a part of North Florida Council. We have been adding a lot of money and resources to Camp Chance in North Florida. That is our local camp. Before we have the pool and the new facilities, I used to like the Camp La Noche that is in Central Florida, where more of the Scottish Scouts come because it's the closest camp to Orlando, to the Disney attractions.
Yes, yes.
But I tell them, yes, but you want to have a small camp, no more than 300 people, with the best pool in all Florida, with a nice weather that is not too hot. Yeah, come to Camp Chance in North Florida. You're only 2 hours away from Orlando. So
yes.
I think that for me, I like small camps. Still, I am in love with Camp Chance.
Well, of course, when you travel that far from Scotland, does it make a difference if you travel an extra 2 hours to get to Disneyland? No, of course it doesn't. So the big save now for you, Jose, is the next Jamboree. It's going to be Blair again. Is your next big save?
Well, our big next thing is next year, the Jamboree. We hope to have people going to the National Jamboree here in the United States and to the Mood. We have 2 or 3 boys who want to go to the Mood. And of course, we're already planning for 2018. That is our camp. But most important than all these international Jamboree, I think that we have to also promote local camping and local camps. I like the way how the European families and the European Scouts do camping in an easy way. They plan to camp without a lot of structure or infrastructure. Here in the United States, we do camping everywhere because we have many parks and things. We focus on our summer camps. Our summer camps are very organized places with swimming pools, aquatic center. I owe my life to one of these summer camps because in 2007, I have a cardiac arrest when I was camping. I collapsed and then I was saved by CPR in a Boy Scout camp that have ADs and have people prepared.
Wow.
So if you search my name with heart, you will find my story. And then I can send you the link. But I believe that these organized summer camps are great when you send 900 boys to a camp and you want to be sure that all the dining facilities, all the bathrooms, and all the medical facilities are in place to support any emergency. Sometimes we see that Scouts camp in places that maybe don't have this kind of facilities, and you have to bring the first aid and all the medical facilities, and this can be also a risk that some parents don't want to take. So it's a very difficult balance of having facilities to camp or camping with everything covered for the emergencies, especially we are Boy Scouts. We have to be prepared.
We have to be prepared. And that is so vital. You must send me on that link because that sounds like an incredible story of how you were saved with the
Well,
car.
yes, I am living my second life. I was an article in Scouting magazine last month. The Atlanta Council of Scouting did a video about 100-year Scouts, and I was one of the videos telling my story. And yes, we promote also healthy activities, being fit, getting ready for this thing, no eating and not having a sedentary life. Take control of your exercise. And we tell the scout from the beginning, you have to be physically strong for all the rest of your life, but you have to watch what you exercise you do, what kind of work you have, so you are not a stressful worker,
Yes.
and what kind of food you eat, and all this combination, because we have to keep you healthy until God wants.
Very true, very true. Now, it sounds like with scouting, Jose, you've been all over the world. Have you been to Kandersteg?
Say again?
Have you been to Kandersteg International Scout Center?
No. This is one of the places I want to go. I have it on my list. I normally, when I travel, I try to visit scout shops or scout offices. I went to Prague, Krakow, and went to Amsterdam, and I found scouts here and there. And then I try to do that. One of the places that I have in my wish list is to go there and see the Scout Center in Europe. I have one of the scouts that went this year there and said that it's beautiful. I also want to visit other jamborees in the region, at least to promote them and know them and exchange. When I go to Spain, for example, I visit scout groups, and I always talk to them, bring my patches, and tell them about scouting in other places. The same I did in Italy. So every time that I try to see scouts everywhere, I try to show that we are a big brotherhood. We are a big brotherhood with the same logo, with the same ideals.
And of course, we have to mention to our listeners that you weren't shy about wearing a kilt as well at the Blair Jamborette.
No, yeah, I have my kilt, and I wore my kilt over there. I was concerned about if they're gonna like it or not. They told me yes, that they like people that wearing the kilt. And then I got my sport round. I got the little what's the name of the little knife?
Yes,
I forgot the name.
Yeah.
And the little pin. And then as a wood badger, I like to have the McLaren tartan, and then I bought another one different with a better fit, so the other one was wrinkled.
Yeah.
And I learned also about the other countries use kilts with no tartan.
Yes.
I think that is Ireland or Northern Ireland.
Yes, they would. Some counties and some countries do not have. It just might be plain olive green. If for Ireland, we have one scout group down in Wexford Wexford, I believe, that wears olive green, and they're the De La Salle pipe band, scout band for Scouting Ireland here, and they have just a pure olive green kilt.
Yeah, I was very happy wearing my kilt. I also, when I was in Edinburgh, I went to the University of Edinburgh wearing my kilt. So I'm telling the other professors and then, that I want to show how proud I was to be in Scotland and visiting universities wearing the kilts, no? And people told me, well, it was interesting to, and also I have some people in downtown Edinburgh asking me to take pictures. Tourists from China were asking me to take pictures. Wow, yes. I feel like, very funny.
I think the most moving video that I've seen from the Blair Jamborette was the closing ceremony where they played Imagine with all the scouts attending.
Well, I was told the closing ceremony is something that you cannot share, you cannot describe, you cannot explain, because you have to live it. Mm-hmm. And now that I didn't know before, I was taking pictures and seeing, and now that I had the experience of being the closing ceremony, I had to tell you, I was the most important closing campfire in all my life in scouting. I was crying all the night, and every time I remember that the spirit of unity that we have on that closing night. and the spirit of closing. It's something that a friend of mine told me, if you come to visit next year, don't come to the closing ceremony, because you have to leave the Jamboree to be able to close the Jamboree with that experience. And I agree. It's something that you cannot take a picture, you cannot take a video, because you have to leave the Jamboree and then close your Jamboree with that campfire, with the fire, with the songs, the lone piper. I tell you, it's an amazing experience.
And I guess all your Boy Scouts made lifelong friends with not only the Girl Scouts over there, but lifelong friends with other Scouts from across the world.
Well, I discovered something in 2013 when we went to the Jamboree, that we saw people repeating. Like they went to one Jamboree and they went to another. They want to go to a Jamboree. And then we created a group in Facebook called Jamboree Scouts. That is a group that tried to invite a scout that have been in any Jamboree and share the Jamboree experience and share the new Jamborees. So when I went to 2013, I was very pleased to see scouts that wanted to go to the World Jamboree, and they went with me to the World Jamboree, and I saw some of them in the Jamboree this year. And every time that you see these boys, they are boys that go and travel to Europe, to other places as student abroad programs, or they go to summer camps away and are waiting for the next Jamboree. This is why we call ourselves Jamboree Scouts.
Beautiful, and I must look up that Facebook page as well. And
we'll give you links.
Well. Yeah, it's been great talking to you, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the day. Good scouting.